Topic, a to jest form first. So when I met Philip a couple years ago, so we are in a contact almost on a daily basis, and we always talk about the basketball. And just one day, Philip came to me and asked me if I can work with his son Maciej, because he wants to fix his shooting form. So I mean, it's a great example that we can talk about something. Okay, you can see the structure, but at the end we have this guy here. So I'm really thankful to Maciej that he's at disposal, that he's able and he's willing to help me, because I mean, this is the best scenario if we have an example of the guy and we are gonna talk about his shooting form. So here is. Okay, I can say that he's brave enough, because it's not easy to come here in front of the 60 people, coaches, and to talk about his mistakes. I mean, so it's not easy, but I'm really happy that when we talked yesterday, that I want him to bring here and to help me to show his mistakes and to talk about the progress, what we decided to do with this shooting form. So for me, it's a great help, and I hope so that it's going to be even much easier for you to understand why we decided to work with him, with the Philip. Okay, we prepared the process, because I mean, this is the most important, the path. Okay, not the goal. Okay, not the goal is the most important, but the path you get through to get that goal. So I'm going to explain you step by step how we analyze at the beginning his shooting form, what kind of tools we used, what kind of mistakes and issues we found together. Then how I explain when I met again Philip with the Maciej again, what I showed them, all the things, video analysis and picture drawing. And then, okay, what is the most important thing, because, okay, all these stuff for me is easy. If you have information, all this stuff is easy, but then the most important thing is process. How you can fix these problems. So we decided to prepare 10 weeks program. Okay, we can talk if this is enough or not. Of course, it's not enough for the small kids, but if we talk about the fix, okay, we are not here to rebuild his shooting form. When he's 18 years old, I mean, like, I don't want to say it's too late, but there's no sense. Okay, when he's 18, he's a national team player of Polish national team. There is no sense to just distract his shooting form and to start, okay, putting all puzzles together and build it again. So we just focus on some segments, and we are pretty sure that when you get a certain age, it's not about if you shoot daily 200, 300, 400 or more, because if you shoot under the, how to say it, not proper shooting form, you are not going to increase your percentage. Okay? It was a discussion between me and Philip. We discussed about it a lot, that Maciej really works hard every single day, but just said to them, like, Philip, you have to slow it down, because if he shoots, let's say now, from behind the arc, let's say somewhere around 26, 27, 28%, and he's taking 200 shots in a day, he's not going to increase the percentage to 40% with the 500 shots in a day. It doesn't work like that in basketball. So I mean, it's much important to come up with the proper shooting technique, what can bring you the higher percentage, not the amount of the shots per day. So we decided to analyze his shot. And then, okay, as I said, we decided for a 10 weeks program, and going step by step to fix. And at the end, okay, because we tested him, so we tested him at the beginning before the first practice, and we are gonna test him at the end of the program. Okay, there's a different drills. Some of these drills I can show you. It's my pattern of drills. You can have your own battery. And just at the end, after 10 weeks, okay, through these tests, so I hope so, because in any other time, Philip is not gonna pay me. So I hope so that Maciej is gonna increase his percentage, of course, with a better shooting form. Okay, so this is at the beginning. Okay, so let's get through the file. So first of all, okay, at the beginning when I met him, so I said like, first of all, what we need to do, that we have to test him, and then we have to analyze. So having video records, having film records, having the pictures. Because I mean, like, if you want to work and if you want to fix something, at the beginning you have to know his faults and his mistakes. So first was the shooting test. So my battery involves 8 different drills. As I said, like, you can feel yourself pretty free, okay, how you build these tests. I have there the test, for example, let's say that we have 5 spots, and he has to score twice in a row from 5 different spots, and he can move from spot to spot when he makes 2 in a row. And we measure the time. Okay? Even tougher test is like 3 shots in a row. So he has to make 3 shots from one spot, and then he can move another one. He has 5 different spots, and we measure the time. Okay? Another, for example, test is that he shoots from one spot, and if he misses 2 in a row, he moves into another spot. So we always, okay, what is the main purpose of this test is that we have to make busy his mind, because I need him to shoot with his regular shooting form. Because if I just say, okay, Maciej, get corner and take me 10 shots, so he start thinking how to start fixing his shots. But this is not the goal. Goal is that I wanted him to shoot with his basic shooting form. I just wanted to make his mind busy, that he's not gonna start thinking about the shooting form. So this is more or less why I always start with the test. But as I said, like, you can feel pretty free, okay, to build the battery of your drills. Of course, if you start with some battery, after certain period of the time, you have to use the same test. Second thing is that we recorded him. So we recorded him with a couple of replays. So like every shot, every kind of shot, we took at least 2-3 films. Okay, and then we move on. We made a slow motion recording, because it's much easier to find the mistakes. And I used let's say, some specific application. Okay, how to find, not define, how to explain to him, or to him and Philip, so where I found the mistakes. The third thing is that I recorded him from the different angles. Okay, it's very important, because you cannot see everything and all the mistakes from one angle. If you take an angle from front, so you cannot see many things and many angles, because we will talk about many angles. What is very important in the shooting form, as you can see from the side. So you have to change the angles, front, side, and behind angles. This is, I already mentioned the 4th point. So I just was watching him all the repetitions without correcting. I just made his mind busy. Like, now he hears it from me, but he didn't know about it. Okay, I didn't talk to him before the testing that I want to make his mind busy. So I just watch his repetitions, and without any correcting. I didn't talk nothing at all, even one word. I was taking the notes, because one thing is that you have at disposal later on the video films, and you have pictures, but still sometimes it's very important in the act of shooting. Maybe you can see with your eyes something, okay, because you stay a little bit different than your video, so you can find some details what can help you to improve his shooting form. Then later on, so I broke down his shooting form and the sequences, but we will talk about it a little bit later, that the one regular shot, it's built by 3 sequences. At the end, it's one motion. It's one fluent, one smooth motion, but generally, one shot is based on 3 different sequences. So I was focusing on every single sequence, because they are related. So if he makes the mistakes in the first one, maybe the second one is bad only because of it, because the first one is bad. So I just was focusing on all three different sequences in the act of shooting. And at the end, when I analyzed his shot, so there was a video editing and picture drawing. So because I took maybe, I don't know, 50 short films and 50 short clips. So when I watch and when I analyze it at home, so I try to pick the best one, not only about the mistakes, because okay, it doesn't mean, and this is a very important thing. When I met Filip and Maciej, and when I started explaining them like a step by step the mistakes, so they were scared. They were scared because I showed them so many mistakes. They were scared like how it's possible. But believe me, first of all, it doesn't exist the perfect shot. Even Steph Curry, who is one of the best shooter or even the best shooter in the history of basketball, he doesn't shoot well because he used the thumb flick. So there is no perfect shooting form. So I just try to explain them and to calm them down a little bit. Like, guys, look at, we are talking about the ideal shot, the perfect shot, but nobody shoots with the perfect shot. So let's just be focused on the things what I guess can influence your low percentage shot. So I just pick, I don't remember, 6, 7, 8 films, short films, and then I start taking the picture from the films. I took the pictures before, and I start drawing and preparing my analysis for them before I met them. So it was the first thing what we did before. When we analyze, at least, again, I just want to say again the same thing. This is something mine. I don't want to say it's the best one. I just want to explain you my way of forming the shot. So when we analyze one shot, okay, we have to be focused more or less on these points. So first thing is we analyze his stance and balance. Second thing, what we are focused on what we analyze is hand placement and grip of the ball. Then shooting pocket and motion pad. This is very important, motion pad, because there is a big difference. For example, it was one of the biggest mistakes of Maciej. And this is a motion pad, so how the ball goes from position 1 to the point when we release the ball. Then we have an elbow alignment. Again, for me it's important because, let's say, the educational way how to teach the kids, now it's different when I was young. I explain you why. Later on I explain you, let's say some, I don't want to say old school, but for me it's old school of shooting form, and I explain the new form of shooting, but immediately I explain you why I like the modern one or the new one, because it makes a sense for me. And what is very important is follow through. So when the ball is released, so how we follow through and why, especially regarding the fingers. Then we have a release timing and arc, because when we talk about the release timing, so it's like in that moment you are in a point of the shooting when you already had to use the whole body, but in a different time. So this is what I said before, this is about the sequences and timing of sequences and arc. Okay, the arc, hook. So it's very important to know why we need to shoot with the arc and what can influence when the arc is pretty flat or pretty high and why it happens. So again, we can analyze, and there is a couple of things that we can recognize the things about the arc. And the last thing, but this is something really far away. So when we start using the proper shooting form with the proper footwork in a shot, so when we have different things. So when we start moving, getting the ball, some action like coming off the screen. Then we have a different action. So when you have a catch and shoot, because you have to do much more work before you get the ball into your hands. Again, sorry. Before, when I was young, they said to me, just wait in the corner, and when you get the ball, so take a shot. But it's not true, because you have to do like a pretty good job before you catch the ball wherever you are on the court. Or let's say what is probably the most important and the most difficult, and this is okay, of the dribble shots, when you have to control many things. Your body, space, controlling the ball, controlling your teammates, controlling defense. So there's different ideas what to do. So this is, okay, this is how we what we need to analyze if we're talking about the shooting form. So all of these things together, I call methodology of the shot. So when you want to teach your kids how to shoot, so you have to be focused on every single point, okay? And I call it methodology. Okay. Maciek, możesz? Dawaj. Okay, so getting through these points, okay, before we start talking about the drills, before we start talking about watching the videos and talking about the progression, so I just wanna, okay, going like a step by step, point by point, and I wanna explain you, okay, how the proper shooting form looks like for me. Okay, so we have to talk about more or less about every part of the body, and I said we have to talk about the timing and we have to talk about the angles. Okay, so when we have a player, so first thing what we are going to talk, this is a stance. Okay, so first thing is that when we talk about the basic stance, so the width of your feet, okay, are the width of your hips, or maximum the width of your shoulders, but the space between the 2 feet are never less than 1 foot. So what does it mean? Okay, so if we put Maciek foot, okay, between his 2 feet, so okay, this stance, this shooting rack cannot get less than 1 foot. Depends, okay, of course that somebody has a big shoulders, okay, wider hips, but generally we talk that the shooting rack or shooting stand should be, okay, the width of your hips or maximum the width of your shoulder, but never less than 1 foot difference. Second thing is that we have a stagger stance. Stagger stance means that we don't stay flat when the, okay, both tip toes are on the same line, but we always put, Maciek is a right hand shooter, so we put his right foot a little bit ahead, and we always turn the feet. We can say we turn to, if you can imagine, the watch is below him, so there is a 12, but we want to turn his feet to 11. If we talk about the degrees, so this is something like between 10 to 20 degrees. Okay, the question is why? First thing is that it's related to biomechanics. So our body is built the way that when we keep our feet parallel, and I just want to lift my shoulder really, really high, so I feel stiff when I get, okay, the angle 60, 65. I already feel stiff. So, okay, to make this move, it's not easy. But when I turn my feet, I feel myself much more comfortable. So this is the reason why you have to, okay, this is the first reason why you have to turn the feet. And second thing is, what is even more important for me and makes great sense for me is, so doesn't matter what kind of sport we play. If we play football, American football, I don't know, whatever, darts, for example, or some sports when we throw something. So always we aim, okay, to the point where we want to get it with our eyes. Right? So for example, if I want to hit there, so I point and I aim my eyes, okay, straight front of me. But if I don't turn my feet and I spread out my shoulder, so my hand doesn't go same direction. It just go 1 meter away. Because my eyes, okay, go that way. I just view that, okay, I just see this view, but my hand, when I spread it parallel, so it goes to different angle. But when I turn my feet, so my eyes meet my fingers. And at the end, we wanna shoot one line, and when I shoot with my feet squared and turn, so in this case I meet my eyes with my fingertips at the end of the shot. So you can see it when I turn my feet, okay, and now I stay like this when I turn, so I turn my head. So in this case, my eyes and the tip of my fingers are on the same line. So this is the reason why we have to turn the feet, plus we bring the shoulder, shooting shoulder, okay, a little bit closer to the basket, and I feel much comfortable. Questions? Nie zapytanie. Polski, rozumiem. Po polsku możesz. Okay.
I don't agree a little bit with the methodology of the learning the shot, because this rotation, it's harder to control. Like, it's easier to control the...
When we already have a shooting stance or shooting rack, so we have to talk about the legs. Okay, so more or less, the biggest problem is that the kids don't understand that we get the power and we get the energy for the shot from the legs. Not from the shoulder, not from the wrist, no, from the upper body. We get the energy, we get the power for the shot from our legs. So what does it mean? So if we can control it, okay, we still talk about the theory, but the angle between the ground and your thighs, okay, has to create 45-degree angle. So if, let's say, if we have here the ground, the level of the ground, so his thighs, okay, with the ground, okay, more or less should create 45-degree angle. Why? If we are higher and more straightened, so we have no power enough. If we get lower, so we're losing the time in the act of shooting. Okay, so again, so this is, let's say, some angle what we use when we talk about the shot, that your thighs have to create the angle 45. What about upper body? Okay, like we have to lean down a little bit upper body, but again you have to be careful how much. So the theory says that when you stay straight and you feel comfortable, so when you get low, okay, when you drop your hips, so you have to lean down a little bit your torso, but still feeling comfortable. There is no angle. Okay, so I just go there. You can see that I turn my upper body, my torso a little bit ahead, front, but not too much, not like this. Okay, so I just want to feel comfortable. Okay, okay, hands up, eyes on the rim, chin up. So okay, so means like your your torso or upper body. Pozo strony, żeby lepiej widzieli, tak, żeby kon widzieli, tak. Okay? So we can see that he leaned down a little bit the torso, but very slowly, because as I said again, same thing. If you put it too low, okay, you are not quick enough. If you are straight, so you are stiff to do something. So this is about the legs. Second thing is, and how we have to, okay, catch the ball. We have two different shooters. We have a middle holder shooter. For example, Maciej is a middle holder shooter, and we have a side holder shooter, Steve Curry. Okay. So when we talk about the middle body shooter, so Maciej more or less he holds the ball much more into the middle. Okay, when I met you, so you hold it here. Okay, so in the middle. But we have shooters who hold the ball totally on the side, which is not a problem. Depends, okay, what is more comfortable, but what is very important, that you have to catch the ball different way. So if you are middle body holder or side body holder, you have to put your fingers on the ball different way. And I explain you why again. You can imagine it, when you imagine that there is a watches below Maciej, 12 towards you, 6 behind him, that way 3, and towards me 9. So if we talk about the middle holder, so we have to be focused where our fingers go. So when he catch the ball and when he is middle holder, do środku, totalnie do środku, tak. So in this case, when you see the watches below him, so shooting hand goes to 11. And wide hand, okay, has to be turned to 1. But never, if you can imagine that there is a line, okay, in the middle of the ball, so his wide hand fingers never can cross this line. Because in this case, he catch the ball from the top. Okay, so when he catch the ball and when there is a line in between the ball, okay, split it to different parts. So if he put his fingers of her wide hand over this line, so when he gets high, so he holds the ball from the top, what is not bad, what is bad. So he has to, okay, middle body, so 11 and 1 o'clock. This is a middle holder. But if we talk about the side holder, so in this case, okay, shooting fingers 12, wide hand 12. And on these things you have to be much more focused at the beginning, because middle holders and side holders, they lift up the ball different way. Now if we talk about the fingers, okay, and for example this is something what is, I mean, a little bit changed like in the last year. So we have a 5 fingers. So the theory is that we have to angled 5 fingers towards the other aim, and this is the rim. So what does it mean? That the problem of the many shooters is, for example, when they catch the ball, as you can see that 4 fingers go towards the basket and they have a L here. It's bad. So we create with the thumb J, letter J. So in this case, more or less, 5 fingers go towards the rim. This is first thing. Second thing is, so we have to talk about, okay, next 4 fingers. When we, again, same thing, when we straighten our shoulder, front of us, like this, so we have only 2 fingers on my palm, okay, and this is a middle finger and index finger, and they go really straight front of me. Pinky and ring finger, they are not straight, they go a little bit, okay, to the right side. So because of it, we use the last 2 fingers on the ball, just fingers, okay, which go straight. And this is middle finger and index finger. So more or less we want to leave the ball. We want to leave the ball with the pinky and with the ring finger much earlier than these 2 fingers. Okay, this is the most important thing that we at the end. So, and again, it's up to you after shot, if you, when you bend your wrist, that you bend all 4 fingers, or you just bend these 2 fingers, and pinky and ring stay somewhere in the space. It's not a problem. But it's, again, it's up to you, it's up to the kids, how they feel more comfortable. It's not a problem if you shoot the ball, and at the end, okay, we have to leave the pinky, we have to leave the ring finger, and these last 2 fingers, middle and index finger, are on the ball, and it's up to you after release, if you bend just these 2 fingers, and okay, pinky and ring stays in the space, or you bend all of them. It's no problem. Just we have to be careful, because if we talk about the right hand shooters, so mostly when your shot goes right, it's because of pinky, influence of the pinky and ring finger. So you can see when you teach the kids to shoot and they have many misses to the left, so it means that first thing what you can recognize, they use too much pinky and ring finger. So this is first thing. Second thing is, okay, how far we have to put the hands on the ball one to other. So as you can see on the ball, the panels, we call it panels. Okay, these parts, we call it panels. So the difference between the shooting hand and wide hand has to be 2 panels. If we talk about the kids, 1.5. So when Maciej put the shooting hand on the ball, okay, so when we talk about, okay, let's say there is a line, we have 1, 2 panels, so his thumb has to be below the 2 panels. So this is the proper technique how to catch the ball. If he catch the ball much closer, okay, it's a bad catch, it's bad grit. So 2 panels wide between the shooting hand and wide hand. Okay, as you can see, I am talking about, this is 1 panel, this is 2nd panel. So if I put my fingers on, okay, on the line, so 1 and 2nd, and there is a mine, okay, wide hand, but never fingers cross the middle. So this is the proper catch of the ball. Okay, it's possible to buy the balls with the 3 lines. I don't know if you saw it already. So there is a balls with the 3 lines. So these 3 lines are that you put these 2 fingers in gaps. Okay, so if we talk about how to place the hand on the ball, so more or less the index finger is in the middle, or the gap between middle finger and index. So this is the middle of the ball. You can see the many videos, shooting form coaches, they have a balls with the 3 lines here and 3 lines here. So, okay, when you have to place the ball, your palm. So this is about then. And what is the most important thing about the grip? And this is that you have to load your wrist. Okay, it was one of the mistakes of Maciej when we analyze it. So why? The thing is, if you don't bend your wrist, again, if we talk about the angle, how to bend, it should be between 60 to 90. Again, like many people, for example me, I cannot bend my wrist to 90. Okay, just I never had a problem, but okay, there's a big difference between the wrist of the people because we can turn it from 60 to 90. So everything okay between is great, but never less than 60. So first thing is when we bend the knee is bend the wrist is that first thing is that every shot has to be push-up shot, push-up, and not pull-up. Because if you have a straighten your wrist, so in this case you are much more pull-up. But when you bend your wrist, so you are gonna be much more, of course, with any other aspects to being push-up shooter. So never flat. And plus, okay, many players, especially the young players, they try to bend the wrist in the act of shooting. So they start with a flat wrist, and when they are in the act of shooting, so when they start lifting the ball, they start bending, but it's too late. It takes a time. So this is the placement of hands. Another very important thing is, and this is the angle of shooting arm. Okay, so if we talk about the angle, if we talk about the angle, shoulder, elbow, and wrist. Okay, again, the proper angle is 85 degrees. I explain why. So again, many players, this guy as well. So when we start working, he has 90 in one shot, even over 100. I show you the pictures later on. The problem is, okay, if you are not bended enough, and when you start lifting, okay, więcej. Okay, so more or less, so okay, for example, it was the basic angle of Maciej shoulder before. So in this case, it's the same thing that you are a pull-up shooter. Okay, so you pull up the ball away of the basket, but we need to use the energy all towards the basket. So if you don't have here 85 degree here, shoulder, elbow, and wrist. So in this case, I pull it up, but I want to push it up. Okay, so this is the first thing what we work on. This is 85 degree, and what is very important is that you have to keep this angle, and it's not easy, especially not from the beginning. You have to keep this angle 85 degree till the elbow is higher than shoulder. So when he starts lifting the ball up, we have an 85 degree angle, but we cannot change this angle till he brings the elbow over his shoulder. So he lifts it up, keeping the elbow, keeping. When his elbow is higher than his shoulder, just then he starts changing the angle. This is the first thing. And when we talk about the timing with this angle, another way, okay, od początku. So if we talk about the lifting the ball, so we don't work with the lower body till he brings the elbow over the shoulder. You can see he doesn't get low. So he doesn't move the lower body, okay, till he brings the elbow higher than shoulder. It's still same, okay? I'll explain you why. If we talk about the lifting the lower body and lifting the ball, so there is a two different distance. So when Maciej drop his hips, so from this point, straight your legs. From here, it's maybe 10 centimeters. But the ball has to get through much longer distance. So the ball, if the ball starts here to the shot, so it goes, okay, over 1 meter. So if we start in the same time, so we shoot the ball with a straightened leg. But we need the energy from the legs. So look at me. So when I catch the ball, okay, so till I bring my elbow over my shoulder, I don't use the lower body. Okay, so means if I start same time, this is about the timing of the shot. If I start strengthen my legs in the same time when I start using my first thing, and second thing is how we need to use the tips of our fingers, respectively what our palm has to do after release. Okay, this is the three different things. So first thing is that we always hold the ball with the both hands, minimum to the height of your forearm. So you never leave the ball earlier, then you, okay, when you bring the ball, okay, over your forearm, you never leave the other hand from the ball. This is the first thing. Second thing is when we start leaving the ball with the right hand, we start with the fingertips. With the fingertips. Fingertips, okay? So when you go fingertips, okay, and just last moment, we just get away the palm in the last moment. But what is very important is, and this is the palm. First thing is, and again, two different schools. Somebody say, okay, please don't flick your thumb. But Steve Carey, okay, he flicks the thumb. From my point of view, it is even more important that you cannot flick the palm. You can flick the finger a little bit, but never palm. Because in this case, the ball has an influence of right hand. And, okay, right after the shot is that your fingers go towards the ceiling or slightly towards the ball. So when you take a shot, so my right hand, okay, fingers get towards the ceiling, towards the roof, or slightly in direction of the ball. Okay? Ball goes down. When I start going up, my body goes up. The whole body goes up. So there's only one movement. Down together or up together. And last thing about the movement is that the ball moves relative to my body and relative to the ground two different ways. So if we talk about moving the ball relative to the ground, so the ball from the beginning till the end still moving. But relative to my body, there is a stop. I explain you how. Okay? So when he gets low to position 1, okay, let's say 45, we have a good rack, okay, we have a 85, we have a banded wrist. So when Maciej start moving, so you can see that the ball goes up, still ball moving towards the, okay, relative to the ground. But if we talk relative to his body, so when he brings the ball here, okay, so now he starts moving, okay, he starts moving a little bit with the knees, and in this case, okay, relative to his body, the ball stops. But it's not the problem. We have to keep the movement of the ball relative to the ground. The ball never can stop relative to the ground. This is the most important thing, because this is one movement. As I said, one shot has 3 sequences. Position 1, okay, position 2, when we bring the elbow higher than shoulder, and then we have a position 3, and this is release. So 1, 2, 3. So when you start teaching the kids, you have to be at the beginning focus on every single sequence, and then later on to put it together. Okay, so first is like a sequences, then sequences together with a slow motion, and then okay, one smooth shot. What is important about the set point? You know what is a set point. So when you bring the ball, where is your set point before the shot? We have to be really focused. Okay, what kind of age we train? What kind of age we coach? Because set point is the most important thing regarding the age. Okay, Maciej, dawaj do set pointu, do pozycji 2. So, okay, now just try to be careful. When we talk about the kids generally over 12 years old, so 13, 14, 15, of course depends on the muscles and these things. So the set point is generally eyebrows or forearm. If we talk about 13, 14, 15 years. If we talk about the younger kids, so if we talk about the set point, so at the beginning we start at the height of the shoulder, and every single year we just bring it higher, 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 and higher. Don't teach your kids when they are 9 years old, when we first time ever start talking about the set point, to leave them ball, okay, pretty high. they are not structured. They are not strong enough to shoot with this proper technique. So when you have generally till 9 years old, we never teach the kids about the set point. Just let them shoot. When they start getting older, 9 years, it's somewhere around your shoulder, maximum chin. And every single year, we just want to bring the set point, position 2, higher, higher, higher. When they are more or less, especially the boys, when they are 13, 14 years old, they are pretty okay, having muscle. So in this case, you can bring the ball over your eyebrow. Okay? Put my check. So when we bring, okay, position 2. So position 2. Tak. So you can, no, face on. Tak. So, okay, Maciej is a pretty strong guy. So we ask him always to bring the ball, okay, like when we put the elbow higher. Okay, this is his set point. So we can see that, okay, for example, he's strong enough and his set point is like where is the forearm or over the head. He's strong enough. Okay, so this is the thing. What is very important, and this is talking about the elbows. Why? Again, this is a big problem of the kids. I call it chicken wings. Okay? What is the problem is that why I was explaining the thing how to catch the ball, because if you don't teach them how to catch the ball, okay, if they start okay like this, chicken wing. You see? So this is very important, the grip of the ball, because in this case, we want to feel them comfortable when our elbows are on the side. And now about the old school and new school, okay, of shooting elbow. Go. If you remember when I was talking that we use index finger and middle finger at the end, because there are two most important fingers. So we can do some stuff before the shot is released that we are gonna help these two fingers. And this is the position of the elbow. Dawaj, łokieć na zewnątrz. Tak, do środka, tak. Okay? So look at, if we keep the elbow inside, okay, if we keep the elbow inside, in this case, you can try it anywhere on your practice. So as much as we put it inside, so we put the weight of the ball of all four fingers. So the weight of the ball is on all four fingers. But if we take the elbow a little bit outside, but not too, okay, not wider than your hips, so you can see that the ball is gonna change, okay, the position, and now I put the weight of the ball on the middle finger, ring finger, and thumb. So the old school was, when I was young, they always teach me, Maros, bring the elbow in, bring the elbow in. But when you get the elbow in, so you can see my palm, so when I rotate my palm, so the weight of the ball is on all five fingers. But when I take my elbow outside, you can see my palm outside, you see? So in this case, the weight of the ball is on these three fingers, what we need to use at the end. So this is the reason why, for example, when you watch NBA stars, so they have a flat triangle with both of their elbows. But again, the same thing is how you grip the ball, how you catch the ball at the end to avoid chicken wings. Because in this case, the elbows go pretty far away. To, co jeszcze? Okay, and release. So, no to jest release, tak. So when we catch the ball, okay, getting the position 2, Maciek, okay, tak. And now as we said, when he brings the elbow over the shoulder, so in the same time we start moving the whole body. One joint, second joint, the third joint, we move in the same time and strengthening the whole body, lifting up the elbow, okay? And what is important is that your elbow right after the shot has to finish over your eyebrows. If not, your shot is flat. So when you shoot, the problem is when you have here 90 degree and when you start strengthening your elbow much quicker than over the shoulder, so in this case your shot is flat because you push the ball front of you, elbow is pretty low and the shot is flat. But if I bring the elbow over my shoulder and I push it and I still lifting up, lifting my elbow. So I bring the elbow over my eyebrows in the final phase when I want to release the ball. So in this case, we have a proper arc. Again, you can control it very easy. For example, me, when I was home analyzing Maciej shot, so I use this tool of my daughter from mathematics, and I just measure his angle. Because when you shoot, when you release the ball, so same thing, your shoulder, elbow, and wrist are on the same line, creating a 60-degree angle. You will see it on the picture. So okay, so means when he goes to this way, like that. Okay. So when we say again towards the ground, if we take okay that the ground is here, so his arm parallel with the ground has to create 60-degree angle. So it's very, very important. Okay. Again, problem is that kids what kids do generally like this. You know, elbow too low, but coach asks them to lift up the elbow, so they shoot and they lift it up. What is a late lift? Again, you can analyze it. So we have to teach them that when they finish without any movement right after the release, they cannot move the elbow, and elbow has to finish over the eyebrows. Releasing the ball, okay? Releasing the ball, okay, when we flick the wrist. And again, what is easy to control? That you teach them, the kids, or okay, when you fix the shot, that these two fingers what are the most important thing. So when they are bended, okay, it looks like that you want to touch your forearm with these two fingers. If my fingers goes right, Maciej for example, if the fingers get left, I cannot catch my forearm. So like it's the same line, my forearm with my two fingers at the end. Okay, of course, getting low towards the ground. Yes, if you think we explain the kids what is the shooting form, be very, very selective. Okay, what do you talk about with the kids? You cannot teach kids about the shooting form. You have to make it as simple as possible. Because when you start talking, explaining to them, as I did right now, who is that guy, you know? Yeah, we are, guys, but I said at the beginning, we are talking about ideal shot. We are not talking about how to teach the kids when they have a 9. This is our job to know all the information, and we have to be selective and smart enough what kind of information we can share with the kids. Okay? So here you can see the tab of drills when we start teaching the kids from position 0 through all the drills, getting the game situation. Okay? And at the end of the session, I prepared 12, 14 drills, okay, related to every group. So we start with the foundation. This is foundation. Legs, holding, position 1, position 2, so form and mechanics. So the first group of the drills, when you start teaching the kids or fixing the shot, even with the Maciej, when we started working 2 weeks ago, so we just work on the foundation. I didn't put him in a drills coming off the screen, full screen shooting, no. Doesn't make sense. Okay? So we start with a pretty simple drills when we are focused on the form and mechanics. Then we start with the movement, but movement means, so we are focused on balance and rhythm of the shot when we moving with the ball without dribble. So what we do, for example, with him, that he catches the ball, he makes different steps before without dribble and to shoot. Because okay, if you ask him to put the ball on the floor, so he has to control extra thing. But we want to make it much easier at the beginning, going step by step. So this is a balance and rhythm, moving with the ball in his hands, but no dribble. Then we have a catch and shot, or catch and shoot. So this is what I said before. You have to prepare your body and doing your job as best as possible before you get the ball in your hands. And not start forming your shooting rack when you already have a ball in your hands. So move where we are here. So moving without the ball. So we move, let's say, coming off the screen or just small step or just side step and catching the ball. Then we have a more difficult drills off the dribble when we ask him to dribble, but never more than 2 dribbles. Because when you start working with the more dribbles, so it's like these drills are more focused on ball handling than shooting. Because in this case, the players and the kids are much more focused how to dribble well. Okay, again, same thing, angles, getting low, split step, slip through, whatever. So in this case, so off the dribble is very simple. Let's say 2 pounds on the same spot, or 1 step with the 1 dribble, but never more than 2 dribble, because in the case they are not focused on the shooting form, but ball handling. And the last thing is that we wanna put them into the situation what somehow are aligned with the game situations. So it means, I don't know, like I have a drill for go screen, okay? I have a situation, Spanish pick and roll. So he goes, okay, it's very important, the footwork. Setting the Spanish, okay, coming off the screen, squaring to the basket. So this is more or less the, but okay, it's not like it's still not the challenge shot. It's not that you throw the ball to him and you go for block. No, we are still working on the form, not on the challenge shot. So this is the drills, okay, there is a pressure, okay, and especially speed. And this is very important. So first thing is that how many days or weeks you work on every step depends of the length of your program. From my point of view, and especially in the youth categories and youth academies, you have a much longer time to work with the kids. From my point of view, if you want to talk about the progress, you need at least 50 practices. 50. Everything less, I don't know. Maybe can work with some, let's say, more talented kids, but generally if we talk about the group of the kids, 50 practices is the best amount. Depends if you divide it in the 10 weeks, I don't know, in this case you need 5 practices, well, it's probably not possible, but you need at least 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Okay, because you cannot work only on shooting form. You have different skills to work on. So this is about the difficulties and the steps from 0 till game shots. When we review, because for example, you can ask Maciej, every single practice, I recorded him, every single practice. So I'm focused on the progress. I am focused, maybe I can find the different stuffs, different issues. So I always record him every single practice. From every single practice, I have at least 10, 12, 15 videos. When I come home, I analyze it. I try to compare it with the older one. Do we have a progress? Something, okay, let's say what is, for example, for me, like a natural way, what happened, for example, with the Maciej? That we work on some issue and we start fixing the issue, but because he is pretty focused on one thing, so he started doing the other thing worse. And if you don't record him, so you cannot find the other issue. So because of it, I cam him every single practice. Every single practice, I tried. And then, okay, when we review the shot outcome, so we are focused on inconsistency. So why not every shot goes same way, making or not making, depends missing. But again, very small help, what can help you, but okay, don't take it granted. This is like some small help. If he misses to left or right, so we are talking about the side, okay? So probably the problem is a wide hand. So let's say there is a flick palm. In this case, the ball goes mostly to the right. Elbow alignment, so when we have a chicken wings, so maybe in this case you use, I have a kids here, 13 years old, and this is a feedback, okay? Again, I don't know if you, but for example, I had that problem in my career. There's a moment, couple of moments that I thought that I know everything. I just was thinking that nobody is better than me, and whatever I do, everything is gonna be perfect, but it's not true. And I mean, like, experience shows you that often we are pretty wrong. We cannot be stubborn, because in this case, we get in a big troubles, and because of it, I guess we always, whatever we do, we coach a team, kids, whoever, even like a 12, 13 years old, you always have to ask them for the feedback. Of course, it's up to you how you are gonna use this feedback, but I think if we talk, for example, about the shot, we don't feel the shot. We see the shot. We see, okay, in reality, we see after the practice when we analyze the video, but we don't feel what they feel. We don't feel, okay, what the kid, what the player feels in the act of shooting before he or she catches the ball. In the act of shooting after release. So I mean, it's very, very important to talk to them and to ask them a couple of questions. And I just tried, okay, to put here, to write down a couple of questions, what you can ask them, and it's gonna help to you as well. When you ask the kids, because in this case, when you get the feedback, you can fix the things much, much quicker. And together, you can find even small details, what you couldn't see or what you didn't see. So because of it, we can ask them, what did you feel during the shot? We don't feel it, okay? Where did you miss and why? So in what sequence, okay, you feel, because we have 3 sequences, okay, so you feel that you missed the shot. Was your balance solid through the shot? Like, okay, balance through the whole shot. Was solid or not? How did the shot look coming off your hands? So what do you feel when the ball starting releasing your hands? Where are you thinking or reacting? So many things is, like for example, especially with the older kids, that they are smart. So when you ask them, I asked Maciej 1 million times, Maciej, what you felt when you took a shot? And even I didn't ask him, right after shot, he said to me, I know, not my elbow, I know, my wrist, okay, went out, and these things. So it's very, very important to talk to them. Even like, especially with the older kids, they are able to talk to you before you ask them. Another one is, did your follow-through match your intent? So you have some imagination, but okay, maybe something goes wrong, so this is a good question. Could you feel the difference between make and miss? So if you have 2 shots in a row, one is made, another one is missed. You can ask the player, what do you feel different between these 2 shots? And you can find maybe some issue. If you could redo the shot, so you have a chance to do the same shot again. If we can, okay, take back the past, okay, what you would adjust? So right after the shot, so you can ask him like, if you can redo this shot again, what you could change? I think it's a great question as well. What cue helps you the most right now? So like, what kind of advice, what kind of idea, what kinds of cue, okay, can help them, okay, to fix, they feel it a lot, okay, many times, much more than we do. And last thing is, how do you know when your form is dialed in? So it means, again, feeling. We can see they feel, okay? Okay, guys, look at. I show you the video. Video takes 2 minutes. Every clip, okay, I put there every clip twice. The first time it's a real speed. The second time is a slow down speed, so slow motion. At the beginning, I just want you to watch the video of Maciej. There's probably, I don't know, 7, 8 different angles and different shots. And I want you just to analyze the shot by your experience. And then right after, we are gonna watch my slides and my videos, and we can share the ideas, what you saw, what I saw, and just, okay, to find, okay, what is where you have seen the mistakes, where I have seen the mistakes, and we can compare it, okay, the things. So we start with the video. The wrist is not loaded. So the wrist is flat. So in the act of shooting, okay, when he starts shooting, so in the act of shooting, he starts bending, but it takes a time. And in this case, his ball, when I bend my wrist, the ball is much closer to my body. As somebody asked here, good question about the centimeters, 6 to 10. But if you have a flat, so in this case, the ball is much far away, too far away from your body. So in this picture, okay, the biggest problem is a no loaded wrist. Wrist no loaded. So you can see always, mostly the blue line is is a proper way, and red line, okay, is a mistake. So you can see that Maciej should lift up, okay, he has to, okay, decrease the angle between his shoulder, elbow, and wrist, okay, under the 85-degree angle. And again, wrist no loaded. Okay, of the body, and space for the ball got from 6 till 10 centimeters. Okay, so he has, okay, when we change the angle, so in this case we can bring the ball much closer to the body. So again, you can see, okay, his angle and proper angle. So in this case, when he rise up the ball, so still he has to keep 85-degree angle till the elbow is higher than shoulder, but it's not that case. Now we are in sequence 3, this is release. What is bad there? To, OK? Będzie lepiej widać w następnym klipie, ale tak, tu widać w prawo, tak? Wrist is bended outside. So Maciej has a problem that always right after the shot, okay, he bend his wrist to the right side, outside. Okay, so we have to fix it because we said that we want to angle these two fingers towards the forearm, but his fingers, okay, get outside. And again, great angle. Okay, so like we didn't have a problem with the Maciej angle right after the shot because he keeps 60-degree angle, what is good. So in this case, like he doesn't have a big problem with the arc, especially not with the angle. He has a problem with the arc because of legs. He starts setting too early legs. But the angle is great, like this. Great, like this. Why? Because okay, the problem was when he was taking the ball up, so he was looking for the ball, for the angle. Okay, so he started turning the whole body, okay, you can see, to the left side. Central body holder, okay? So now, for example, we just recognize because we have a feedback, and Maciej just somehow recognized that for him it's better and he feels much comfortable when he's not a middle holder, but a little bit side holder. But this picture, what I said to you, so I made it before he was knowing these things, so he was the total middle holder. So in this case, as we said, if we talk about a central body holder, so fingers 11 and 1. So in this case, you can see that the shooting hand fingers, okay, go towards 10. But okay, now here, these fingers go to 1. What is the great? In this clip, it's great. Okay? Habits, and we just have to find them and to rebuild them. What is the problem? Even Maciej, okay, his shooting elbow gets too outside as a chicken wing. He still wants to keep the wrist proper way. So look at, so like he holds like this. So like his wrist is broken. But if we bring a little bit closer, not having the chicken wing, so in this case we have a one line. So like wrist is okay, but the elbow is bad. But he wants to make a balance, so he just decided, okay, to turn, okay, his wrist, but he does it automatically. So we work on these things as well. So left hand wide, and it's pretty good. Okay, the elbow is good, just the right elbow is too far away. Okay, we take the ball a little bit higher, and now you can see, okay, the lines. Okay, here, okay, again, he goes a little bit right, but it's not the problem. Problem is a broken wrist. Okay, you can see again, there is elbow is too far away, but what is the problem? That the body is tilt. Okay, again to one side. So he's not straight, but again he's tilt. Pretty nothing before he gets the ball. Everything what he does, he always does after catching. So he's not ready for the shot. Okay, and because of it, so we have a problem with the hand placement. So as you can see here, we still need the same thing. Middle holder, we need the 11 and 1. But as you can see here, the problem is that his wide hand, fingers goes to 3, and this is the problem when if the shooting fingers go to 1, and fingers of the wide hand go to 3. So the problem is when he leaves the ball, so he has the palm on the top of the ball, and this is that problem. Okay, so like shoot showing 11 and 1, but his fingers show 11 and 3. What is a bad placement? Hand placement, middle holder, body tilt. Again, body is tilt to the one side. Okay, we are going to shoot. So same thing. Now you can see it because he catch the ball really bad. So in this case, his palm is from top, okay, getting over the middle of the ball. And in this case, he holds the ball from the top side, and it's okay. Of clear, if you get from high. So in this case, you have a problem with the elbows. You cannot keep the elbows proper way when you go from the top. Okay, another situation, clear. Okay, no 90, ball too far away, so you can see the angles. Okay, angle, shoulder, elbow, wrist, should angle 85, but there is maybe, I don't know, 100. Okay. Another case. This is about, okay, this is about the trajectory. This is about all these stuffs about the lift pad. So how the ball goes. So we all, okay, like generally saying the ball has to go in an S. But the problem is if you have the ball too far away, because the ball is too far away. So like properly, okay, he should shoot on this blue one trajectory, but he should on a red one. So the ball goes too far because his hands at the beginning are too far away. And he goes like bang, bang. And like this. Okay, so pull-up shooter, no push-up shooter. Okay, so lift pad, ball is too far away from his body.